What is going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Finally, we have got some news about Grand Theft Auto 6, as I guess Rockstar is finally going to move on to a new revenue stream, or at least hope that they can recapture the revenue stream that they've been milking for the past near decade on GTA 5. So we've got some new details regarding GTA 6, its setting, as well as the main protagonists in the game. Also, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake has now been delayed indefinitely, which is very, very sad indeed. Also, Chernobylite gets AMD FSR 2.0 support, and Diablo 2 Resurrected has finally been cracked. So let's get into it. But first, today's video is brought to you by Keysfan.com and their software super deal, where you can get some of the best prices out there on Microsoft software. Especially with my coupon code, you can get half off of Windows keys, as well as 62% off on Microsoft Office products like Windows 10 Pro, Windows 11 Pro, and Office 2019 Professional Plus, and Office 2021 Professional Plus, and they've also got a bundle with Windows 10 Pro and Office 2019 in the same package. To save money on Windows 10 Pro, just go ahead and add the key to your cart, which starts off at $15.17. But once you get into your cart, you can go ahead and apply my discount code at checkout YTB50, and that will give you a shocking 50% off, bringing the price down to just over $7 at $7.58. And when you proceed to checkout, you can pay with either a credit card or PayPal, whichever one happens to fit your needs. And this also applies to Microsoft Office products, but again, you're going to get 62% off on Office products with the code YTB62 at checkout. Applying that to the $67.40 price, Office 2019 brings the price down to a stunning $25.61. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you need your software keys, head over to keysfan.com right now and be sure to use those coupon codes at checkout. YTB50 on Windows products for half off, and YTB62 for 62% off on Microsoft Office products. We'll kick things off talking about Grand Theft Auto 6, which, as a huge GTA fan going all the way back to the original DOS games and playing those on PC and the London game and stuff, the top-down type of Grand Theft Auto games, which I loved when I was younger, but I was super excited when they did move into the third-person perspective and all of that, and the series has obviously been huge since then. Grand Theft Auto 6, we have not really heard too much about this game, or even when or if it would ever come, even though it could pretty much be assumed that we would get a Grand Theft Auto 6 at some point. It has not stopped Rockstar from completely milking GTA 5 for all it's worth through 3 separate console generations, as well as a PC release, because why wouldn't they? They are still to this day making an absolute fortune, hand over fist, collecting in the ducats off of GTA 5, mostly from the GTA Online portion of the game and shark cards and all that stuff, and it's still one of the most played, most streamed games out there. So it's very risky, honestly, for them to go ahead and release a Grand Theft Auto 6, because they have to make it at least as good, if not better, than GTA 5. And of course, then we have all of the different versions they've released of GTA 5 with the recent Enhanced Edition, or whatever it was called, for the PS5 and stuff, which added in some bullshit form of ray tracing, which is basically non-existent, and patting themselves in the back for faster loading times, which is really nothing that they did. The console just has a fast NVMe. It's hardly a fucking upgrade because of you, Rockstar. The console did it, not you. The development's actually taken so long that Bloomberg even declares that many of the developers working on it have actually left to go work on different projects for different studios, because they just got impatient waiting to be able to work on GTA 6 and work on a new title rather than just churning out shit for GTA Online. But thanks to Bloomberg, we also have some of the first details for Grand Theft Auto 6, which has obviously upset a lot of snowflakes out there, because they don't like some of the information coming across, like the fact that there is going to be a Latina female protagonist. First female protagonist in the series history, not including the old GTA, like the original one, where you can choose between 8 different characters. There was female characters in that. But since they've actually had story arcs and characters that actually, meant something to the single-player portion of the game, this is the first time we're getting a female protagonist, so a lot of people are, for whatever reason, upset, calling it woke or whatever, but who gives a shit? I could care less. Male, female, whatever. as long as it's not like preachy or anything like that, which I am concerned about. I am concerned about that because they have made changes to their whole studio and the dynamic there because they had a very toxic culture in the past. But they also gave us some pretty great games that were hilarious, mostly because of that they made fun of toxic culture and things like that. So I'm hoping that they can still have a sense of humor in GTA 6. But they mentioned over on Bloomberg that there will be a female protagonist who will be Latina, and the two main characters in the game will be bank robbers that were heavily inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, which sounds really awesome to me. I love the story of Bonnie and Clyde. The movies and stuff that they've made from that are pretty much all pretty great. So I don't have any problem with that whatsoever, and I'm curious to see what they do with it. And it sounds like they'll be doing, a multiple character perspective, just like they did with GTA 5 with Franklin, Trevor, and Michael. And who knows if it sounds like it'll only be two characters this time, which is fine for the story and all that. I get that. But it could be more. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. You know what would be really interesting is if they did a different dynamic. Like, it made me think of like The Wire, the TV show The Wire, how it had this perspective for their story narrative where they would show it from the drug dealer's perspective, the drug addicts, as well as the cops. Like, what if GTA did something like that where, okay, you've got these two protagonists, Bonnie and Clyde, who, pseudonyms, whatever, that you get to play as, but maybe as a third character, maybe you also get to play as a detective who's trying to catch these characters. And you get to bounce back and forth and sort of see the story from different perspectives. That could be really interesting. That's just my idea that just came off the top of my hungover brain. So, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. As far as the release window, they do mention that it will likely take at least 2 more years for this game to come out. Some people from the Rockstar Studios that had talked about this said that they have no idea when this game is going to come out, but 2 years is the bare minimum, so it could go even longer than that. So do not expect this thing to releasing anytime soon, or to really even get any details or trailers outside of what we have right here for quite some time. It was also noted that Rockstar initially wanted to include large portions of North and South America, but they were not able to do that. They had to sort of cut it back. But they do mention in here the setting being a fictionalized version of Miami, so probably Vice City, which has long time been rumored that it would be a Vice City setting. But they do mention that Rockstar plans to continually update the game over time, adding new missions and cities on a regular basis, and I would just have to go ahead and assume that that is mostly going to be for the online portion of Grand Theft Auto 6 and not for the single player. I mean, we saw with GTA 5, where's the single player DLC? They just kept adding on stuff to the multiplayer, the GTA Online, which I honestly had no interest in, and I would have loved to seen some story DLC like we saw back on GTA 4 with the Ballad of Gay Tony and the motorcycle, Lost in the Damned. That was it, yeah. Both of those were awesome. Ballad of Gay Tony, one of the best expansions ever besides like Dragon Age Awakenings. Besides that, like one of the best expansions I've honestly ever seen in a game. Also, Witcher 3 had some pretty great expansions, like Blood and Wine was really good. But yeah, Ballad of Gay Tony was fucking fantastic. And so Lost in the Dam was pretty good too. And it was a shame that we didn't get to see a major single-player expansion for GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2 for that matter. Like, what the fuck happened to Undead Nightmare, man? Bring back the Undead Nightmare. That would have been so great, but no, they're making too much fucking money from shark cards and DLC skins that they're like, why the fuck are we going to spend millions of dollars on the development team to make a story-driven single-player thing when it's not going to make us as much money? It's a shame. It's such a shame. I honestly can't stand it. It just pisses me off to even think about it because the online in GTA it's just not my bag, baby. So that's all we've got on GTA 6. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Next up, Star Wars KOTOR, as I like to call it, Knights of the Old Republic, has been sadly delayed indefinitely. It had been being worked on by Aspyr Studios. And now Bloomberg has also, continuing on Bloomberg, they reported that on June 30th, Aspyr finalized a demo of the game known as a vertical slice to show the production partners at Lucasfilm LLC and Sony. The developers were excited about it and felt like they were on track, according to a person familiar with the project, so they were shocked by what happened next. The following week, the company fired design director Brad Prince and art director Jason Miner. Neither responded to requests for comment, but Miner suggested on a social media post that his dismissal was completely unexpected. And that's just kind of sad to hear, honestly. It's just like another single-player game that probably a lot of people would have been looking forward to play. A whole new generation of people that probably never played KOTOR, or maybe they've heard about it. But the original KOTOR was fucking awesome. And the fact that they were going to do a complete remake, but, stick with a lot of the same characters and the story from KOTOR, but, bring it into a new engine, new graphics, all that kind of stuff, visuals and mechanics. Sounds fantastic to me, and I definitely would have been a buyer on that one, and it's kind of sad that they're now delaying that, and hopefully they don't make them go work on some online-only type of bullshit. Who knows, maybe it'll be like a fucking Battle Royale, who knows, a Star Wars Battle Royale game. That actually might not be that terrible. I mean, it would be terrible, but it sounds interesting. Next up, just a quick mention that Chernobylite has now added in support for AMD FSR 2.0. The game already has ray tracing, it has DLSS, and it's had FSR 1.0 for some time, but now they have added in FSR 2.0, so you can get a boost in performance if you're running on any AMD hardware, or really any card that'll just, work with FSR 2.0. I'm not sure if this game ever got a mod for FSR 2.0. I believe I remember seeing it somewhere where, you could use that same mod that was working on many games to get FSR 2.0 working, but this is an actual official implementation of FSR 2 from the developers on Chernobylite, which I've not really played. I actually just downloaded it today after seeing this news and ran the benchmark with ray tracing on. Whew. Even with DLSS on, it was absolutely brutal to run it. Without ray tracing and everything, it was running well over 100 frames. But man, very, very taxing to run. So I'm sure people will appreciate getting FSR 2.0 in the game, especially if they're planning to use the ray tracing on it. It is a must to have some type of upscaler like that if you want to use the ray tracing. Even on a very, very high-end card, you're going to need some upscaling. Last up, before we get out of here, Diablo 2 Resurrected has been cracked after a full year. It wasn't down to like de novo or anything like that. It was mostly just because it required you to use battle.net. So a new Russian group called Blizzless has actually made a workaround so that you can play a pirated copy of the game without having to connect online with Battle.net to be able to play Diablo 2 Resurrected. And unlike Diablo Immortal, Diablo 2 Resurrected is a good game and is definitely worth playing, and it is worth paying for. But, I'm just here to deliver the news and let people know that Diablo 2 Resurrected has technically been cracked, and you technically could pirate it if you're technically a terrible person. Kidding. I don't judge. But anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. As you can maybe hear by my voice, I've been a little sick for the past couple days. So that's, I haven't been uploading since Monday, really, so I've been a little sick. But that's all I've got for you guys. I'm going to catch you next time, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Peace.